Hello everyone, it's the Championship 5 in the JACKOCAR Kia Series. We are live at Bahrain. It is all going to be decided this evening. My name is Jake, I hope you're all having a great evening. And I am joined in the commentary box by the man himself, the myth, the legend, many names you can call him, I'm sure. It's Jacko, hello.
Hello, Jake. You can call me what you like as long as you don't call me late for dinner, because that's most important. What a treat this is. Championship 5, me, you, up in the booth. Looking forward to this one. If you're looking for any assistance tonight on stats and whatnot, I can't help you because I've been racing these guys all season. But looking forward to it. I'm just here as a mouthpiece, if you will.
Yeah, you've been on the track with all of these guys. I'm sure you've got plenty of analysis as to how some of them drive, and maybe some things that we don't, some things that we don't know, perhaps.
Absolutely, but we'll see what we can do anyway. Jake, tonight Championship 5, as we've said, 5 drivers. Very simple. Maths is very, very simple. First one out of the 5 to cross the line is a champion. And those 5 drivers fighting for the title this evening are MK Bourne, Connor, Jamie, who you also know as Splinter, Nils, and SD Mats, who has been the inform man all season. But one stat I do know, and Khalifa told me this one, the inform man during the playoffs is the man that won the chase, and that is Nils, carries that P15.
Yeah, all of a sudden, once he had to do it through a chase, he just suddenly found some incredible form and has propelled himself not only into a Championship 5, but like you say, as the form horse coming into this. So, all to play for. You could probably make a case really for all 5 of them to do this. And I've got to say, it's after a season of relatively confusing at times standings to work out. It's nice that for this week at least, it's a very straightforward way of doing things.
You know what? Sometimes I feel like after 3 full seasons now that I'm still the only one that fully understands the system. Honestly, it's very simple, but I'm not gonna talk you through it tonight. We can do that in the off season if needed. First man out on track is Scott Hunter in that number 70 machine. Again, as always, rocking the ILR colours from back in the day. I think he is actually a last-minute replacement for Kaya, because I don't see him in the grid at the moment.
He is no Shakaya now. I think he's changed his PSN from last week.
Oh, he is. Yeah, he's at the top there. Sorry.
Yeah,
Not used to seeing him that far up.
Yeah, he'll get a nosebleed, I'm sure, if he sees that. I've got to say, it's a nice livery, Scott. It looks a bit of rich energy vibe to it.
Of course, no hate here. Everyone loves rich energy. Am I right?
Absolutely. Scott to start then his lap. He's on the medium tyre already, which is slightly interesting. He's the only driver so far that's put that on. Nobody else in the pits wants to do that. I'm not too sure what his thinking is behind that. Of course, there's no jokers tonight, and it's a 2-stop race for all the drivers. So yeah, and this isn't a driver I've seen before in the Kia series, so I'm not really sure what sort of pace I should be expecting from him here.
I'm just trying to recall if he made one start earlier in the season. I know you yourself, you've missed a couple of races. He has made 2 appearances in the Cup Series, including 1 crash, and then he had I think it was a 14th or 13th place finish last week at Canada. Might have even been the week before, but yeah, he's starting to make a name for himself now as the league goes on. This is, I would say, his 4th start in total. But still very much a reserve as we look to next season after tonight.
Yeah, we'll see how this lap gets on. He's looked pretty solid so far. Not difficult to judge in terms of sector times how he's doing, but certainly the car looks pretty well balanced. He's obviously purple in the sector because he's the only one to have gone out so far. We're going to be switching shortly to the next driver, but we'll see what Scott does round the final corner now then. I'm not sure if that little kick still counts as a corner. I mean, it's basically an acceleration zone in these cars. 127.3, which I don't think is too bad going on the medium tyres. And we now switch to Kaya, who I wonder if the yellow flag was for them briefly, because when I went on board with them, it didn't look like they had the momentum out that corner that you'd expect them to have. Well, that's this is already looking like quite a scruffy lap, I have to say, and I don't think this is going to be challenging nearer front. This is not the lap that Kaya would have been hoping for.
No, you can ignore the you can ignore the purple sector that come up for turn for sector 1. That is incorrect. But Kaya, one of those guys I've not really had a lot to do with this season. He's sort of been signed up, he's turned up a few races and DNF'd at most of them, so I don't know what he'd like will to will. So we continue on board with him here. Well, I'm on board with him, I don't know about you. I'm not the cameraman.
I've just switched to Freddy Gavu because I don't think Kaya's lap time is going to be any real... I mean, the best thing he can hope to do now is just not invalidate, and hope we get a few more invalidations as we go on. So I'm with Freddy Gavu now, who... I don't know why, but I always... this is one of the liveries I always remember. This is with the sort of striking green and gold on the front of the T-cam shot with brown. So it's one livery I always seem to remember. I don't know why. We'll probably see Kaya's lap time come up.
Kaya actually pits on, so he will not complete that lap time.
So I feel vindicated now for switching early before the lap finish.
It's nice to see Pro Overall Frenagamo with yet another ugly livery. You said you liked it just now. That's the helmet. It's nice to see that matches.
My wording was I remember it.
I remember.
I don't think we'll... That's not a 128.0, not too bad. We've got Matt, or Mackie, on a lap right now. That is not a livery I've seen him use before. And that
this is one
unique.
Go on, sorry. It reminds me of something, and I'm not sure what just yet, but I know he did say he was saving a livery for the final round. Whether he makes it there or not, he's going to use it. He is using it. Unlucky to get crashed out of in last week's Cup Series race, actually, in Canada. He was running P7 at the time. As Indecisive Matt comes up to the line, it is P2 now.
Yeah, not too bad. I'm trying to now think as well what it could possibly be. For some reason, the old Sauber Petronas car came to mind, but I don't think it's that. Jess is the next one on a lap. She goes through the end of Sector 2 now, and her time's looking
new as well.
Pretty close. I think she ran it last week. I may be wrong. Let's see the T-cam shot. No, I think she has run that before. I think she ran that last week, but it is a recent change because I know she obviously ran the red and black one for quite a while this season.
Oh, Frenagamo's had a spin on his in-lap. Sorry to interrupt you there, Jake.
Well, I mean, it's better timing for him, I suppose, as Jess slots in just behind Frenagamu into 4th place. It's better to do it on your in-lap than your flying lap, I suppose. And, wow, that looks... I don't know why, but immediately made me think of Braun as soon as I switched to Bill.
Of course, Bill, when he was a reserve in Cup Series, he used to run the Braun-inspired livery. And I think he just continued on with that theme through Season 2 and then into Season 3. Runs it here for the final round of the Kia Series. Goes purple in Sector 2. Do we believe that? Absolutely not. We'll find out at the end of the lap how good this is. Jensen Button fan, hence running the number 22. Works perfectly on that car.
Absolutely. Oh, I tell you, he will be gutted on the next game, though. He's about to go quickest on first man to a 25. That's a nice lap time.
Yeah, good lap
good
there,
to
Bill.
see Kaya rejoin after they lost connection. I did catch that. I was about to say they'll be gutted on the next game, though, because if I'm right in saying, they won't be able to use that number, because that'll be Yuki Tsunoda's number.
You are absolutely correct. As we move to Mr. John, special mention to Mr. John. He was part of the original team that got JACKOCAR off the ground back at the end of 2019. It seems so long ago, but this will be tonight his final full-time appearance in JACKOCAR. 2 seasons in Cup Series, and of course this season as well in the Kia Series, running a very special livery. I don't know what it's meant to be, possibly NHS inspired. Being the man that works in a hospital over in Kent, he sadly invalidates. But Mr. John, in his final appearance tonight, will start towards the back.
Could be a potential last to first kind of performance. That would be
that would
written in the stars.
Just nicely, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Is it Newgarden? Baza next.
It's Dan's car, but Dan's car's not here, so it would be Baza.
Bazza into T1. Bazza's clearly a Renault fan based on his many liveries over the course of his season. And this one again looks Renault inspired. It looks more back towards the early Renault days, so maybe taking a little a trip back in time there to the Alonso winning machine. Whereas last week he was running, I think, a 2009
he goes for a spin.
Oh, that's a big accident, and that's his car destroyed. And wow, that's not where you would have seen Alonso's winning Renault too often that season. Sadly for Bazza, he ends in the wall. That's a big crash.
Yeah, car was definitely looking a little bit loose as we go to Newgarden now. Again, this livery, I don't know what it is, but it reminds me of something and I like it. Possibly
I feel like
2010 Sauber.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. It looks like the 2010 BMW Sauber, which was driven by Della Rosa and the other name escapes me. Is it Heidfeld?
Before Perez, wasn't it? Heidfeld, maybe.
It's before Kobayashi as well. I'm pretty sure it might be Kobayashi.
It might well be Kobayashi, actually. Yeah.
It's a nice livery.
It's
a very simple livery, but I don't know why. I quite like it.
Yeah, it's very nice.
So
but under the lights here, the white almost looks silver, and of course Matt does like his McLaren, so maybe he's got the silver just slightly off, and it looks more like a Sauber, but nice either way. I'll say that.
Yeah, going down to the final corner then, and he's not invalidated. He's not had a spin, so. This will be the first lap in a little while that we've seen through to the end. Newgarden across the line, and it looks like he's going to go into that gap between first and Scott. He does indeed, just 3/10 off Bill, not too bad at all. And next up we've got Waze, who has already invalidated.
I tell you what, for a man who started the season off with, what was it, about 18 meg of internet, and then he improved his internet, he was unlucky not to win a couple of races. I'm sure he'll come back next season and prove us all wrong, prove that he can do it. You know what, he was a genuine threat in the playoffs as well, just didn't quite fall his way.
Now there's no doubt Waze has got the pace, maybe just at times consistency is just something that needs to be ironed out, but if the pace is there, the consistency hopefully will come over time. For him, Mozza is the next driver on a lap with a car that just looks so much to me like the Williams of this year.
And Khalifa gave us a very nice stat about Chris, actually. What is it? 50% of the races he has started, he's finished in the top 5 in those 50%. Is that correct? Something like that?
Sounds right. I think he's a driver that's just kind of gone under the radar a bit, but he does some very good, impressive performances. Not the quickest out there, but for sure one of the most sort of good from race to race. You know, doesn't seem to often have a bad one. Mozza then round the final corner. Looks a bit tentative, but it should be good enough to pop him up into 3rd place. Yep, there you go. 3rd place for Mozza. Not too bad.
Definitely a man that can win a race, trust me.
Yeah, and maybe tonight's the occasion. You know, Championship 5 race. You know, there'll be extra pressure on those 5 guys who have impressed us throughout the whole season. You know, maybe it will be a chance for someone a little bit different to go and steal the headlines.
Absolutely, and of course that's something we see in the Cup Series as well. It's the last 2 seasons been a driver not in contention for the title has won the race. Of course, Splinter racing tonight, he won in China Season 1. As Vitinho comes up to the line, it's P1.
Provisional pole position for Vitinho. Nice lap indeed from him.
Just to finish off as well, last season it was Riley that won in Brazil in the Cup Series. Of course, he wasn't fighting for a title either. So
well, I do wonder if you are one of those Championship 5, do you sort of plan out your race any differently? Do you approach battling anyone who's not in the 5 with you? Do you sort of give them more space?
I mean, if it was me, you know that you're only out there, you're fighting 4 other drivers, so you've only got to be ahead of those 4. It doesn't matter if you finish down in P16, as long as you're ahead of the other 4 guys that you're fighting for the title with, you're going to be champion. It is as simple as that.
Yeah, the other drivers are out there, but your focus has to be on the ones that they're essentially battling with you for the title. Yuri up to the line. What's he going to do? It's good enough for P3. Our 26-1, not too bad. And
back
we now
in his
go
Alexander Rossi colours as well, for representing the IndyCar there.
We now go to Jack G, who was also elected to qualify on mediums.
Must be an ILR thing, because that's exactly what Scott did. Again, similar colour scheme.
Yeah, Rich Energy, maybe Rich Energy are paying them to use medium tyres.
So those tyres, they do work well with that. Gonna get a nice toe off the Splinter here, is Jack.
Yep, not too bad at all. Might gain like half a tenth to a tenth of a second towards the end of his lap. What's this going to do for Jack? He's usually very good in qualifying, but obviously on the medium tyres it might be a bit different. And what on earth was that? As a car just in the wall there.
Waze's car. Not sure where it come from.
Yeah, out the final corner. Jack only went 7th in the end, which is below the other medium tyre runner of Scott. Virtually identical times they both did though. And here is the first of the Championship 5 then. It is Niels on his lap.
I tell you what, he didn't have an amazing regular season, but he showed signs all the way through that he was very, very good. He never quite got it together, but like we said earlier, once he got into the playoffs, he was there. And he has more points than any other driver in the Kia series since the start of the playoffs. Niels, the first of the championship contenders, up to the line. It's going to be P2. It's a solid lap.
Good lap from Niels. He'll be happy with that, I suspect. And next up, we've got Splinter. Jamie, the second of our 5. How's he going to get on? The middle sector looks very comparable to what Niels was running, so this could be very close here. And I think, certainly from my neutral perspective, I kind of want all the Championship 5 to be very close on the grid.
Absolutely. Jamie, of course, missed out on the Championship 5 in Season 1 by 2 points. Had he made it, he would have won the title. Up to the line, Jamie Bromley at a track he doesn't like. It's P2 for the moment.
Wow, the first 2 of the Championship 5 separated by 11 thousandths of a second.
Wow. We're in for a race here, Jake. We're in for a race here. What about Connor?
Well, Connor, it was a 104.7 for the middle sector for the other guys. Connor's about a tenth and a half away from that sort of margin at the moment, but he could get right in there with them, and it looks fairly good at the start of Sector 3, so we'll see how he gets on around the final corner, but this could be right in there with Splinter and Niels. That's certainly what I'm hoping to see here. Connor coming up to the line now. What is it going to be for Connor? It's P6. I don't think he's going to be too happy with that. He's a few attempts adrift, and more importantly, a few places adrift of Splinter and Niels in front. So, still Vitinho on provisional pole at the moment, and it backs up what we're saying, that there's a big chance here that pole and maybe the race win will not go to one of the 5.
Absolutely. Connor, by the way, the existing JACKOCAR NASCAR champion, so he knows how to win a title as we move to MK Bourne, and this, for me, out of about 60 drivers in the league, this is livery of the season. MK Bourne, the German, who has been to more JACKOCAR finales across all series of motorsport, but has never won. Crashing out, of course, in the Championship 5 in the Cup Series in Season 1, in the pit lane, Lewis Hamilton style at China. But the number 12 car, what can he do? Gold for the championship, purple for ART. Round the final corner, Jake, what's it going to be for MK Bourne?
I don't think Sector 2 was looking particularly all that great for MK Bourne. What's this going to do for him? It's only P8. That's a little bit of drift, but I tell you what, Easty Max's first sector at least is very strong here. Could he be about to take pole position away? It was a 104.7 that Splinter and Niels did through Sector 2. Easty Max is 3 tenths up on that. He was a bit fortunate there not to invalidate, and then got oversteer on the exits. I think he turned in too early, and then to compensate, got on the power a bit too early as well. So Easty Max may have lost a few tenths there, which means this will be super close. This hasn't been the best of runs for the far sector. Is it going to cost Easty Max here? He's gone second, but he should have been pole, I reckon, there. And as a result, he's only 1 place in front of Splinter and Niels. So, in terms of a Championship 5, obviously it's Vitinho on pole, and fair play to him on that one, because they thought Easty Max was going to take that away. But we've got Easty Max in second, we've got Splinter third, Niels in fourth. So 3 of the Championship 5 are all together on the grid, with Connor 7th and MK Bourne 9th.
Top 10 all within 9 tenths there as well, so At least we've got the Championship 5 all together pretty much in the same bit of the track. Easty Mats, by the way, coming into this as favourite at the start of the season. Just about getting away with that qualifying lap at the end. But Splinter, he'll be happy with P3. At a track he doesn't like, I think we're in for a good race here. And Nils, brilliant performance. The man who won the chase, of course, shouldn't be here, but he is. I think he's going to give us something, definitely.
Yeah, and I suppose in a way, I certainly how I would look at it if I was in a situation, if you've come into this on the back of winning the chase, I almost feel like there's less pressure on Niels' shoulders than there is on the other four.
Well, definitely, because you think he failed to make the playoffs, so that made him in the bottom 10 of the drivers in this tier. And of course, when you win the chase, such is the nature, as the way I've worded it, you are chase champion. So he's already a champion in his own right. So he has that in his back pocket. He has no pressure as such because he's scored the least amount of points out of the 5 altogether. I think he's in good stead. But if you go based on the history in the 2 Cup Series seasons prior to this, the guys that have won the chase have finished the Championship 5 race in P4.
Ooh, okay. So this is going to be an interesting race for sure, and I really could make a case for any of these 5 to do it. The one driver that concerns me going into this is possibly Splinter, just because he's had a couple of DNFs already during the playoffs, and you know, the last thing you need. What on earth is that start to the formation lap? Well, that was
ST and Nils. That's
2 of a Championship 5 are already compromised because they're gonna.
Splinter's behind Vitinho in there to crash. They're all crashing.
This is one of the more unusual formation laps I've seen. Connor's out, so the only one of a Championship 5 who's still going on this formation lap is MK Born, so
he's the one lowest out of all of them, so what real benefit is he actually going to get starting in the middle of the pack there? I hope it doesn't affect the race too much. I don't think it will.
I mean, they will have slightly colder stuff, some cold tyres on the line. Vitinho will be loving life, and here he can warm up his tyres nicely, and all the 3 cars starting behind him can't. So Vitinho will be absolutely loving things out there. Bill and Yuri still going as well. And looking further down the grid, we've obviously got Waze. We've got Mr. John Waze and Bazza starting towards the back of the grid. Each had their various dramas, either invalidation or in Bazza's case, we saw him have a huge accident during qualifying, and Waze also having an accident, but that was on his in lap, I believe.
Sorry, Jake, I'm just in the chat here. Apparently the lobby is broken, but I think it was just the drivers more than anything not agreeing on when they should go.
Yeah.
Tino waited too long on the grid, and that affected everyone because most of the others reacted when the lights went out.
So somebody was suggesting may need a restart, and also thanks to Khalifa, who confirmed that Scott raced at Monaco, which I believe was one that I did miss.
Yes. So that is 4 starts in total for Scott. 2 in both tiers. He's a driver, I don't quite know where to place him. He'd be sort of top of this tier, bottom of the other tier to midfield, so who knows.
Well, I mean,
we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, P11 on the mediums ahead of Jack G, who we know is really quick. I mean, that suggests that Scott could do some damage in this race.
Vitinho, by the way, confirming he was AI, which caused that problem. You'd like to think AI would have taken his car away. As Yuri pulls up to the grid.
We've got drivers starting to line up now.
Yeah, I think we're all right here, Jake. I will hand it over to you for the finale of the Kia Series Championship 5.
Yep, here we go then. The lights are coming on, and when they go out, we'll be underway here. We've already got Frenegamu with the jump start, so he's going to drive through penalty to serve, but it looks like Vitinho got away really nicely there, and further behind we've got looks like Splinter making a great start by the looks of things, and it's Vitinho that leads the way. We've got Bill there coming up to second place, Easty Mat's third, Niels into fourth, Yuri now making a move. You can see those that had cold tyres really struggling off the start. We've got a yellow flag. I think Wace has had an instant further down the field. Not too sure what's happened there. We've already got a virtual safety car and Wace is out.
Oh, Jesus, sorry, I'm just watching SD Mats caught out by Bettini and Bill braking so hard for the VSC. Coming out of turn 3 there, Jake, I don't know if you saw it, but SD was a little bit sideways. Contact with Bill. I don't believe he's got any damage. Certainly doesn't look like it on stream. But he was very, very cautious. Likewise was Nils and Splinter, as Yuri benefited and picked up a couple of positions there. So it just shows that they know what's at stake as we're green again.
Yeah, I only want to look. So yeah, look at Astimat's down 1, Neil's down 1, Splinter down 3, Connor down 1. The only one of a Championship 5 who actually gained off the start was Mozza, who of course wasn't stationary.
MK Born.
I say MK Born, yeah, I don't know why I bet something.
He got to warm his tyres up.
Yeah, he got to warm his tyres up. I knew what I wanted to say and then something else came out.
That's alright, that's why I'm here.
Martinho still leading the way. Bill, I have to say, he absolutely launched it off the line. He's up to second. Easty Mats keeping it very carefully down to third. We had a yellow flag briefly as well further down. I want to see the battle here that could be about to rage between Splinter and MK Born. This is for P6 on the road, but of course this is 2 of a Championship 5. So MK Born with those warmer tyres putting him to good use, and he can see Splinter just in front of him, and I don't know, his eyes might be on stalks a little bit more, knowing that it's a driver he needs to beat tonight.
Absolutely, I was just looking at Newgarden have a big lock up into turn 1, almost went into the back of Connor, but they get away with it and live to fight another day. Now Mozzard dropped a few positions, so what are we looking at? There's a spinner, and there's not.
No, on board with MK Born, and he very nearly did what Bazza did in qualifying. He just about managed to keep hold of it on the curb, but it was a huge moment on board with him, and he would have seen his championship dreams flash before his eyes in that brief second there. That was a nervy moment for him, but I'm now going to keep an eye on Niels, who is closing up to the back of Yuri and will want to try and get that place because he'll see Easty Mats not much further up the road.
I'll tell you what's going on here. I mean, Yuri and Nils aren't teammates, but they are both from Holland, and Yuri, I believe you're good mates with Nils actually, you'll probably help him as much as he can, try and stay with or get past SD Matt. So this is a little bit of personal teamwork going on. I'll tell you what, they're not pulling away too much, are they, the leaders? This is still very much wider.
Connor is pitting. We've got one of a Championship 5 in the pits. Connor already in at the end of lap 2. Is that for damage?
That is damage.
Yeah,
new wing for Connor.
New wing for Connor. Some medium tyres going on. Obviously, 2-stopper here anyway.
His teammates having to wait. Chris is behind him.
Oh, and that's a disaster for Clown Mozza. That's a real disaster for him. We talked about how good some of his results have been recently. That will not do him any good there at all. But yeah, Connor in the pits early days, and that will cause a problem as Bill goes off the track. Manages to recover it, but loses a place to Easty Mats. That corner is proving to be a real problem for these drivers.
Oh, and Kai has just gone straight on at turn 1. In fact, he's stopping to let Connor through. And possibly Frenagamo. Yeah, there he goes. Action. Let them down the grid at the moment.
No, definitely, and you can see Martinho's taking advantage of that. He's already 2.5 seconds clear at the front of the field, so already streaking away with this one. Easty Mats up to second after Bill's error, and then you've got Yuri and Niels following close behind, and then you've got a bit of a gap back to Splinter and MK Born, who are the next 2 cars, but they're not under any immediate threat with Newgarden a couple of seconds further back. We've got a yellow flag. Frenagamu.
He's done a Baza, yeah. Oh, and he almost hits Kaya coming back on the track.
Oh,
what's going on?
That corner is not proving to be anyone's friend today. There's so many drivers struggling. The curbs of that corner proving to be absolutely lethal. So I'm back now with Yuri, who's looking on the back of Bill. Easty Mats at the moment.
On those tyres, isn't he?
Yeah, the soft tyres now will be getting towards that stage where some guys will be thinking about coming in the pit, especially if you've qualified on the softs, which a lot of these drivers will have done in the top 10. So yeah, it's getting towards that point now. Easty Mats is starting to peg back Bettini ever so slightly, but a problem that Splinter and MK Born have is they're just not able to keep close enough to our next group of cars, and Splinter and MK Born just becoming slightly detached behind that group in front of them.
Bill is starting to become somewhat of a cork in the bottle here. the guys right behind him, which is the two Dutchmen, two of the three Dutchmen, they're much faster, but the nature of this track doesn't allow them to get past.
Well, I tell you,
and shutting his DRS on the straight there.
Oh, and I think you mentioned they're both Dutchmen, and it may have helped.
He's coming back.
But no, he's. I thought that Niels was letting him through there. We've got a yellow flag there. What's happened there? We've got Vitinho,
it's
the
Vitinho.
race leader.
Gone.
Vitinho, the race leader round. Wow, what a start he had, and it's just all gone away from him there in that one moment. Vitinho falling down the order, and wow, I did not see that coming. Eastimats is into the pits. Niels as well.
It's the auto spin curve, that is, isn't it? Turn 11, turn 12.
Yeah, that curve catched out many a driver. I tell you what, as well though, Niels has just got a pit lane speeding penalty.
Oh.
So that's a disaster for him. He'll have to serve that 5 seconds when he comes in for his second pit stop. And that will do him no good whatsoever.
What a shame as well, because he's right there with SD Mats. Any mistakes and he's on him. They are the two leaders of the Championship 5 currently. As it stands though, if it were to finish right now, Splinter is the man taking that title home. But it is only lap 5, as Yuri's had a problem. He's done a buzzer as well.
Oh my goodness me, it's this same corner once again. It's a carbon copy. We've seen it a few times with Bazza, Bill and nearly a few of us as well.
Oh, he's going to go for another spin. Yuri come back on track with Bazza and spun getting out the corner there. Bazza, meanwhile, unlike qualifying, keeping it on the road. Yuri's struggling bad on those tyres.
Yeah, he needs to try and get in the pits at the end of this lap if he can make it roundabout, getting a puncture or anything like that, because those tyres look pretty close to finish. Jess has disconnected from the lobby. Hopefully she can rejoin. That makes the move quite easy for Eastimats past her. And MK Bourne's still just loitering behind Splinter at the moment, just waiting for a mistake. And based on what we've seen so far, that's not a bad strategy. Splinter coming in.
Follow Splinter into the pits. No, he's not.
I wonder if that was a traditional case of basically do whatever the other one doesn't do.
Yeah, and then pit this time around. He's looking good, isn't he, MK Bourne? He's not net leader, but he's looking good. And now he's got clear air. I wonder if he can maybe extend the socks and make some ground on SD Mats, who just gets past indecisive off camera. And I don't know if you caught that.
Yeah, just saw the overspeed he had and wanted to make sure he got the move done nicely. We got a yellow flag set to 2. I think on his Frenigan move.
He's gone for a spin up there again. Struggling with that corner.
Turns 11 and 12, yeah, the spin. It caught Vitinho out, of course. We saw that earlier, so not the first one to do so. And you can see now Scott and Jack making their way forward through the field, obviously starting on those medium tyres. Bazza as well recovering. Bazza, of course, started at the back after that qualifying crash, so a good recovery so far for him. But it's Eastimats currently in the pound seat, but Niels is only a couple of seconds behind him, and there's only one car in the way as well, and he might just be about to pass Mackie right now.
Of course, Matt, he has the choice. He doesn't have to give up the position. He can fight and keep that if he wishes to, and he will let Niels go as Jess rejoins, but Matt comes back around the outside. What's going to happen here? Contact? No. Niels gets away with it and can hunt down SD Mats once again.
Yeah, I fought for a split second there. I mean, I don't...
Oh, so did I.
It was a bit of a... It was a bit of a scruffy move, in all honesty, from Niels, in the fact that he didn't give himself the best of lines coming out the corner. So it allowed Indecisive to come back at him, but he eventually made the move stick. And we've got MK Bourne in the pits, and I wonder where he's going to rejoin in relation to Niels. Let's have a look. Oh, he's comfortably behind Niels. Is he going to be in front of Splinter? Sorry.
Yeah.
Splinter.
He's done it.
Yes,
he's got the jump on Splinter. So
he's done the overcut, which I've got to say, around this track, with the rate that the soft tyres go off, is a little bit surprising.
It's impressive, certainly, and surprising.
Vitinho with the fastest lap. He'll wondering what might have been, because he's clearly got the pace to be up there fighting for the win this race, but that mistake around turns 11 and 12 is really, really cost him.
Definitely, what a shame as well. Vitinho, he could have had so many more wins this season, but he's just had the bad luck, he's had the bad internet. When he's had the good internet, he's had crashes, so unlucky not to make the championship final.
Oh!
He missed out by a couple of points. MK Bourne
It's left the
leaves the
session. So that's going to be a problem. That'll make Splinter, it'll make an easy job for Splinter to get past, I should imagine.
That's not uncommon for MK Bourne, but of all the races, and it's this one.
It's not when you needed it. Connor, currently in the worst position of the Championship 5 at the moment. He was another one as well who had some internet issues earlier in the season. So, but he does seem to have got those under control now.
Splinter can't get past MK here. He's struggling as he rejoins. He won't be back in the car yet. He's got to do him on this straight. Poor entry for Splinter.
Gotta say, to say it was an AI driving, MK Bourne's AI, you where to put the car.
Yeah, that's great defending.
But here we go, Splinter's gonna get past him, and MK Bourne's gonna rejoin to see that one of his rivals has now overtaken him due to a fault which is really no fault of his own. So that will be frustrating for him. I can't see the gaps on the screen at the moment, which is a little bit annoying. If I can... No, it's not showing me the gaps. So which is, like I say, it's not ideal because I do want to see how close Niels is to Easty Mats. Let's see if I can catch it on board.
Give a visual look.
Yeah, I'd say it's about 2.5, 3 seconds would be my from my trained eye. We've got another yellow Kaya round. That's on the exit, I believe, of turn 12. So that's a bit more peculiar a place to go off. But nevertheless, Kaya rejoins. No harm done there. And what's Easty Mats up to at the moment? He hasn't got any traffic in front of him immediately.
Top 4, Jake, yet to fit, along with Kaya as well down at P18. I very much think he's out of the picture frame currently, but as I say that, Newgarden, the last of the soft runners, let's make a stop.
Yeah, that's a good stint now in soft tyres. It'll be interesting to see if having the advantage of some fresher tyres in his other stints will bring him back into the picture. Oh, I really don't want to go. I'm going to go to Splinter rather than MK Bourne, because since MK Bourne's joined the lobby, whenever I go on board with him, his car's revving its nuts off. Which isn't the best.
He's going to go round the outside and then the inside of Splinter. No, get away with it.
Oh, he'll know he should be ahead of Splinter. Here we go again, down the inside. This is a brave move. This is fierce battling between the pair of them. Splinter's going to use the undercut to go back at him. They're going to continue to go side by side. Who's going to be braver? It's MK Bourne, who doesn't back out of it, gets the place. I've got to say, I don't blame him for not wanting to go side by side through that corner, considering some people have been struggling to do it on their own.
Kaya picks up a penalty as he comes in for his... Oh no, that's not a pit stop, that's just a penalty.
Yeah, I think that's Kaya on the straight.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, yes. It's going super slowly, so I don't know what that's all about at the moment. We've got the gaps back front, and yeah, Neil's just over 3 seconds away from Easty Mats, so my trained eye not working too badly on this instance, which is rare, so I'm happy with that.
I'll give you that. But yeah, that certainly MK Bourne looking the more. I'm looking at Kaya off in the background. Certainly looking the more racy, and we did mention earlier that it's not a preferred track of Jamie, and it might be starting to show as we head deeper into this race. So if there's a track you don't like, you lose the motivation for it, you're not as interested. But there is a championship at stake.
Yeah, and he's using a bit of overtake down the straight, but he's going to run out of straight before he can try and potentially go back at MK Bourne. So for now, at least, he's got to stay slotted in behind. But it's not too much of a difficult position as we've got. There's that Frenigan move.
Yeah.
Having some issues there. Yeah, that's not a tyre I would expect to see too many people use in the two-stop race around this track. The hard tyre is not too great. Chris is also on them as well. But of course, I remember that he did get held up in the pits.
Indecisive Matt taking Jess into turn 1. They do have about contact. That's a good overtake. That was extreme right of the track as well. Move from Matt. You probably missed that one.
Yeah, just caught what happened after it, which isn't much use, I'm afraid. Let's see, there's a yellow flag out there. Jess looks like she's lagging a little bit, which is rare actually.
Yeah, it's for Jess. The yellow flag was Mr. John lapping Kaya.
Yeah, Kai's still struggling out there at the moment. I'm still keeping an eye on this Splinter MK Bourne fight, which is still super close. And then you've got Connor a few places behind them, and you've got Estimats and Niels 4th and 5th on the road, but there is a 3.5 second gap between them. But of course that can all change. We haven't had a safety car yet, but that could quite easily happen between now and the end. So there's by no way is Estimats and Niels the only two fighting for this. Is still an opportunity, I would say, for all 5 of them still involved in this.
Definitely, and look, we've still got 18 drivers running, so we'll get a safety car. Maybe a third of the way through this race. Trust me, I've been in enough of these races to know, and seen enough of them now to know what happens.
Definitely, I'd be surprised if we went the full race without one, let's put it that way. Splinter still right there with MK Bourne. These two just look like they have got very similar pace. It doesn't seem to matter who's in front, and neither one of them is able to pull away from the other. They just look very evenly matched at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I think Splinter's got a hold of his head, starting to drive a little bit better now.
Yeah,
very scruffy when MK Bourne come out ahead of him.
He got in. And Kai is out of the race, and is that going to bring out the safety car that we were just mentioning as a virtual safety car? And I'm just
look
wondering.
at the 2 ILR boys, they pit.
Yeah, and Bazza can,
massively.
and Bazza too. Bazza can also pit, so the top 3 can use this opportunity to pit under the virtual safety car. They won't lose as much time because, of course, everyone else on the track is required to go to a delta. So this is an ideal opportunity for these guys to get rid of those medium tyres. And to be honest, it's not really that far outside when they probably were going to pit anyway.
No, I was looking at it. Jack and Scott, they were over to the left-hand side of the track. And then, of course, the VSC come out and just both dart back across to the pit lane. So they're probably back 2 out, as you say.
Oh, I think what's happening here between Splinter and Scott? I think Scott's got to go drive past Splinter. Well, that's going to cost Splinter dear. Splinter's going really slowly here and has lost a lot of places. I don't know if there was some issues there under the VSC when Jack and Scott came out of the pits.
I think there was, and then Newgarden, he went round the 3 of them.
Yeah,
so
it was almost.
He's now up to P5.
They're almost all like after you, and then Newgarden's like, okay, I'll.
Jack down the inside of Newgarden.
I like that. It's a good aggressive. Connor!
Connor's out!
We've lost Connor with Championship 5 is down to 4. Connor will not be the champion. He is out of the race and he's lost it. Well, are we surprised? It's the same corner which has caught out so many, and it's done it for Connor by the looks of it too.
That's the end of Connor's season. NASCAR champion a couple of weeks ago, but will only finish 5th overall this season. The title is not going to Bournemouth, but it could go somewhere else. Championship 5 down to a Championship 4, as you say, Jake. I'll tell you what, this race is Bahrain. It's quite exciting.
No, absolutely, and I've got to say as well that it really still could go either way. Niels and Eastimats now the leading pair, but Niels just starting to peg that gap a bit. I wonder if he gained a bit during the virtual safety car. Gap down to 2.7 seconds now at the front. But of course, it's worth to point out Niels still has that 5-second penalty, but he needs to serve at his next stop for speeding in the pit lane, which is when he could look back. Oh, that's super wide there. Oh, that's a Frenigamu. I was wondering what was going on there. It's just Frenigamu, I think, just letting Niels through. I wonder if it was Eastimats for a split second there, but not the case.
Sorry, Jake, I was just looking at turn 3 just now. Splinter's struggling to get past Bazza at the moment. He was side by side and then just dropped away.
Well, Bazza's on fresh medium tyres, so I just wonder if Splinter just hasn't got the pace now. He's slightly worn tyres, he's gone deep there as well into that difficult double left. And yeah, Splinter right now, it just looks like it's all getting away from him as Vitinho also looks like he was shaping up a move but backed out at the last minute. Splinter at the moment is only going in one direction in this race, and I'm afraid for him it's backwards.
Connor, by the way, this is our 3rd championship race across all tiers. Connor becomes only the 2nd driver out of 15 to retire when in contention for the championship. Of course, MK born in China, we mentioned it earlier, back in was it May of last year, June of last year. Jack Gooding sets a fast lap. MK born closing in on the top three. It's starting to come to him, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. MK Button he's had a quiet race, just doing his own thing. Nothing too dramatic, but he's just slowly getting himself back into contention. That's another moment for Splinter, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Vitinho as we go down now into turn 4. And yeah, Vitinho down the inside, and Splinter is losing yet another place and just doesn't look like he has any answer at the moment. And oh, we've got Newgarden. Newgarden is into the wall on the entry, it looks like, into what is now becoming the infamous corner that's catching out so many drivers, and he's kind of stuck on the wall. Of course, we know the reverse and the turning circles of these cars are atrocious, and Newgarden having some issue there, just getting it back onto the track.
I was just about to mention Vitinho is having a cracking recovery drive. He's now lining up Baza next, just a second or so away. Yellow flags again, it's Frenagamo. We're down to 15. Will that be a safety car? It is!
Yeah, there we go. I was about to say Michael Massey is determined not to put out a full safety car, but he's had to relent in the end. The 4th DNF has brought about the safety car, and what does this do then? Who really benefits out of this, I wonder?
I don't think anybody's got any wing damage, Jake. I think that everyone's going to have to stay out. Vitinho is going to the pit lane. I don't know why.
Yeah, of course, he can't use this as one of his mandatory stops unless he's got significant damage on his front wing, which he hasn't.
No, this is... Okay, so that's an illegal pit stop. That's a slam dunk 30-second penalty.
Yeah, and that's effectively the end of Vitinho's race, and it really has gone from hero to zero for Vitinho. Pole position, was streaking away with the race, and it just... And you mentioned he was having a great recovery drive, but then he does that, and it kind of just goes back to square one again. But
is that commentator's curse right there?
If I had to say one driver who's probably quite happy at this stage to see the safety car out, I'd have to say MK Bourne, because it brings Niels up to the back of Easty Mats, but of course he's got that penalty still to serve. This brings MK Bourne right into the thick of things now.
Yeah, and we mentioned just a few laps ago, MK Bourne, he's really starting to settle into the rhythm now of this track. I think, you've taken away what I was going to say. I genuinely think he is the main man at the moment. Nils, sadly, we're going to have to rule out with that 5-second penalty for now, halfway through this race. This is JACKOCAR, isn't it? I just think it's not going to be that simple for Esti. So no, MK Bourne.
The only person we can rule out with absolute certainty is Connor.
Yeah, so he's not coming back on track. He'll finish the race in P17, but he'll finish the season P5.
It does help.
4.
It does kind of help bring Splinter back into it in terms of obviously everyone's bunched up together, but he needs to get a grip of his track. He doesn't look at the moment like he's on top of his track or on top of his car, and you know, it brings him back into play somewhat, but he's going to need to up his pace as well.
Absolutely. Got a few drivers in the chat under AI conditions. They shouldn't be.
Tut tut.
But what information can we find out? Way's calling for a Vitinho penalty. Don't worry, we've already covered that one. Of course, Vitinho can escape that penalty, but he has to make 2 more stops, so that'd be 1 mandatory and 1 penalty stop, and that will overrule a penalty from the stewards. So he'd have to make 4 total. And of course, if he doesn't, he will be given that 30-second penalty. Only driver currently on 2 stops as well.
And as well, I mean, just thinking about it, I mean, if he did serve 2 more stops, that effectively might as well be the same as a 30-second penalty anyway. So at this point, you might as well just knuckle down, get on with it, and accept the penalty afterwards. But like you say, this safety car is not going to help him with that, because it brings everyone all bunched up together, and that's the last thing you need when you've got a hefty penalty coming your way.
Absolutely. So then, reset. Esty, Nils, Bill, MK Bourne, Jack Gooding, top 5. I mean, what are you saying, Jake? MK Bourne to win the championship, but what about the race? What are we thinking? Who's winning the race? Keeping in mind that the champion has never won the championship race. Safety car in this lap.
Well, I think we've got 2 drivers I would say we need to keep an eye on here, are Jack Gooding and Scott. Obviously, Jack Gooding is running the softs now, Scott's running a set of mediums. Scott hasn't run the soft tyres yet, and he can obviously put us on for his final stint, so he'll be super quick and dangerous to watch out for. And I think Jack as well could potentially stretch this soft tyre stint to go on to another soft tyre stint at the end. So they had a good medium stint at the start, and I think Jack and Scott could benefit from that.
Esty's gone. Esty's going to pit. Sorry, Jake. He's caught everybody out.
Niels follows him in, but of course he's going to have to serve that penalty.
And look at Jack on the back of MK Bourne.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, Jack on MK Bourne. This is... I mentioned Jack could be one to look out for on the restart, and here he goes down the inside of MK Bourne. MK Bourne, that's not really one that he needs to bother about fighting for, because Jack right now will just be quicker. That's the harsh truth of it, and it's not a fight that he really needs to concern himself in with too much. Easty, Mats and Niels both onto the medium tyre, but of course with a penalty that Niels had to serve, he's now behind Mr. John.
Oh, so Splinter and Vitinho coming together in turn 6 there. I thought he was going to send Splinter up into the Armco up the track, but he just about survives, no damage. Vitinho not even in his correct position with that penalty that he's got coming at the end of this race. And he goes deep there and almost hits Yuri into turn 9, 10, sorry.
Yeah, that's way off the track there for Vitinho, so he's going to lose. He's going to lose a lot of time, and Splinter might be able to come back in, but doesn't look he's close enough on this occasion. But Jack is right up behind Bill for the race lead here. Jack absolutely storming on these soft tyres on the restart and wanting to make hay on them now while he can. And look at that, firmly in the slipstream, down the inside. Is he going to go into the final corner? This isn't usually where you would consider most overtakes to be done. But a lovely overtake.
Going to come back at him. Who's going to get the stage point at the end of this lap? It's going to be Bill! That's the final stage point of the season. Of course, you don't get those in the Cup Series, but Bill resumes the lead.
Yeah, so Jack didn't have the lead for long, but he's going to
up the inside.
Come back. This is getting super physical. And I tell you what MK Bourne has just pitted as well. And he'll be on to his final stint now as well. But I don't want to take my eyes off this incredible battle for the lead, as Jack now goes back up the inside of Bill. And this time,
great race.
There is no way back for Bill, for now at least. And Jack will now try and pull away on those soft tyres, and he already is doing so. And that may leave Bill to the prey of Scott as well.
Yeah, and this check is absolutely vital, because on the restart there, everybody from Nils back, so that's P2 back. Nobody went. Esty Mats just followed the safety car into the pit lane, so he'll have a huge advantage. As you can see, he is that far ahead of MK Bourne, so that's ruined the safety car experience for him. And Nils, with that penalty served, is now behind MK Bourne on the road. So it's looking good for Esty, purely because nobody got a move on at the restart.
And it was your turn there to take the words right out of my mouth, because I was literally about to say that myself. And yeah, gotta say that's crucial. Then Niels drops behind MK Bourne at this stage, but they're 5 seconds or almost 5 seconds behind Easty Mats. And Splinter doesn't look like he's got any pace on his restart either, as Bill pits. So Bill is into the pits, but is Splinter about to be overtaken here by Newgarden? It looks like it could be the case, but he may not get to the corner in time. No, Splinter stays in front, but he's already 2.5 seconds adrift of the next group of cars. So Splinter's lack of pace just seems to be continuing, and like you say, he doesn't like this track, and it seems to be reflecting in certain aspects of his performance.
Oh, look at this. Nils is going to come out behind Bill. So MK Bourne cleared him, but Bill come out right in the middle of the two of them. What a shame for him, the Dutchman.
Well, that one pit lane speeding penalty for Niels is going to, I think, possibly be the thing that ultimately cost him a chance of winning this come the end. And what on earth's going on here? We've got an incredible three-car battle here between Bazza, Yuri and Vitinho as they go towards Oh, and it's contact!
Vitinho's hit Yuri!
Vitinho goes into Yuri, and that's not what either of them needed. Yuri punted off, and Vitinho gets the place, but I think Yuri may have something to say about that.
Yeah, I don't think Vitinho is having a very good race at the moment, ever since that spin. But he's going to get the run on Bazza here, down into the penultimate corner. Bazza will yield and give him the inside, and he's hit Bazza as well!
He's hit Bazza as
Unbelievable
well!
wing damage for Vitinho!
I mean,
we're going to pit here. No,
none of them do.
Out. Wow, look at Yuri, he's back there.
You've called every Vitinho move wrong so far, so God only knows what he's going to do next. Vitinho down the inside once again. That's a very odd line to take into that corner, but he squeezes Bazza out of room as Splinter and Newgarden battle further down. Splinter still holding on to that place for now, but Newgarden will come back at him. We've got Vitinho and Bazza still doing battle further down, and Bazza actually retakes that place back again.
Yeah, fair play. Of course, Vitinho's issue is he's about 10 hours behind, so he's seeing all this very, very late. His laggy internet does not help the situation. It's good to see Yuri and Bazza both recovered. Vitinho with that wing damage. Yuri struggling on the mediums now. Yellow flags on the pit straight. I think it's for indecisive Matthew. Vitinho giving Bazza another nudge there, Jake.
Yeah, it's a shame really. Obviously he's having to react as and when he can, but of course if Bazza and Yuri don't know about Vitinho's situation with the illegal pit stop, because obviously if they did, I don't think they'd be battling this one the way they are.
No, definitely not. Bazza thinks better off of going around the outside. He stays behind Vitinho. Did he take a knock from Yuri? No, he didn't. It's just the lag of the game.
One thing that has happened that I've just got under the radar, I've noticed, is that Bill has overtaken MK Bourne.
Interesting. That'll be his lap pressure tyres.
And that now puts MK Bourne at a prey of Neil, so he's only 4 tenths behind him. You can see all 3 of them right there on the screen.
Bazza's on Vitinho, Jake. Sorry to interrupt it. It's going to be into turn 1. Indecisive Matthew comes up the pit lane as well. It's 3 wide into turn 1.
Oh, there's more contact!
Oh.
And this is how has none of these cars ended up in a wall yet? I've got no idea. This is super close physical confrontation going on here for the final podium spot as it stands, but Vitinho holds the outside line there and keeps hold of a place, but Bazza's still thinking about a move back, but runs out of space to do so as MK Bourne
here at the moment. Look at Bazza down the inside again. Can he get round Vitinho this time? Not quite. But Yuri's now on the outside of Bazza as we head to turn 9.
Got 2 separate battles and they're both insane. I'm struggling to know which one to keep an eye on.
Bazza back up the inside. Yuri with no traction and contact once again.
Vitinho pulling away from him and Bazza loses another place to Yuri. We've got a yellow flag. I think that could just be indecisive. Is it getting out of the way or slowing down? Yeah, what I was about to say as well is that Bill has actually been repassed by MK Bourne. So
and
MK Bourne's
penalty as well.
Taken that place, yeah, double whammy there for Bill. And, you know, he's not quite recovered from the mental trauma of realising Yuki Tsunoda's taken his hero's number on the next F1 game.
Got into his head during qualifying there, didn't you? That's what I done.
I think I did, yeah. I've inadvertently cursed him. Easty-Mats is in a really strong position right now. Of course, he doesn't need to pit again. The only one, Splinter's now pitted as well, but he's gone for soft tyres, so we'll see if that's any kinder for him, but he's got a lot of time to make up to put himself back in the fight. Right now, it's Easty-Mats in the pound seats, but there is still every opportunity that we could get another safety car, and if that were to happen, suddenly Splinter on the softs would be a threat.
Absolutely, and Rory picks up a penalty there. Easty-Mats is the net race leader, however, Vitinho also on 2 stops. I don't think he's aware of his penalty. I think he's simply forgotten that you're not meant to pit under the safety car.
The heat of battle has fried his brain, and he's forgotten the rule, and it's just that can happen sometimes. To be fair, you know, every league has their own little rules, and sometimes when you're in the heat of a race, you just, I don't know, sometimes it could just completely vanish from your thoughts.
Yeah, but if a safety car were to come out, and Vitinho, oh, Bazza's gone for a spin. Yuri, sorry.
Bazza's gone. Oh, and he nearly. Yuri went for a spin and Bazza nearly got collected in the process. That was super close. In the end, There's no contact, thankfully. I try and get the broadcast down
with
back.
that. Yeah, what was I saying? If there were a safety car, and Vitinho starts to get a bit racy with ST Mats, you know, anyone can win this. Even Splinter, Yori's going to make a pit stop, and I'm not surprised. He has destroyed those mediums. ST Mats leads the race as Vitinho also stops, so that rules out that theory.
So there's every chance here that ST Mats could not only win the Championship 5, but also win the race as well.
Absolutely, but it's never quite that simple with JACKOCAR. Top 3 are currently Championship 5 drivers. Of course, we lost Connor earlier in the race. Splinter is struggling, but ST, MK Bourne and Nils, one of them, is doing enough.
Potential double headache coming up for MK Bourne and Niels, though, in the fact that Jack and Scott have just rejoined not too far behind them on some brand new soft tyres.
Absolutely.
And they're going to be super quick. We saw how quick Jack was on his previous set of softs on the restart, so expect him to go straight on the offensive here against the guys in front.
Jack's goal coming into this season was to just win a race, which he did. Now he's under no pressure. What can he do in these final 6.5 laps as he catches up to Bill fairly quickly through this final top section of the track? Very, very fast, easy to spin as we've seen all race long. I think Bill's going to be a sitting duck probably by the time we get to the bottom of this straight.
Yeah, nothing he can do. Jack's just got so much more traction on these tyres and so much more grip, and there's Bill, like you say, he's just got no defence to that right now. Here we go, then straight into overtake. Jack wants to get this move done as stress-free and as quickly as he possibly can. And there you go, down the straight. Before they even get to turn 1, he's going to have the move sewn up. Nothing Bill can do in response. Jack up to 4th. And next up for him is going to be Niels. And really, in the situation Niels is in, the last thing he needs is a headache of Jack behind him.
Absolutely. Because I think if Jack were to get past these two, he doesn't have enough time to catch up to ST Mats. So and if Jack's going to do is slow these two down.
And if ST Mats uses some common sense, if Jack does get up to behind him, I wouldn't fight him all that hard.
No. But that gap on this lap has extended by 6 tenths already, the gap between SD and MK. MK starting to fall away on those mediums. Nils more of a threat to him, but Jack causing problems as well, as Scott is now within DRS of Bill. He's going to make this one fairly simple.
Yeah, we've got a massive train of cars here as Jack tries a move on Niels, but he's going to have to bide his time. But he might find a bit of a creative move here, because just with the extra grip he's got, he can take different lines and look for a move, perhaps unconventional, but perhaps you wouldn't go for. But he has just picked up a penalty, so I talked about him using different lines. That's not one of the lines he wanted to use, because that's got him a penalty. Scott in the background has gone up the inside of Bill and taken that 5th place, so you can see both of these guys very much on the charge right now. Niels has got DRS as well, so this will have to be a bit more hard work for Jack, but he's still got the inside line. I'm surprised Niels didn't cover that off a bit more than he did, but Jack under the brakes has got a better grip, better tyres and better brakes it would appear as well, and takes P3. And MK Bourne will be straight away on the defensive as well, with ST Mats near enough 6 seconds up the road now.
Yeah, and Scott got past Bill as well behind all of that into turn 1. So the old ILR boys putting on a show in the final 5 laps as we look to close out the season.
Yeah, it's obviously not seen Scott personally myself, and he did do one race in the Kia Series earlier this season, but based on what he's shown so far, it's a shame he wasn't in more rounds, because he's certainly bringing a lot of entertainment to proceedings here as Bill picks up a penalty. And I have to say, just looking at Splinter, even on soft tyres, he just doesn't look like he's got the pace he needs to bring himself back into contention. So I feel like Splinter's hopes now are all but over.
Yeah, and he will say it is the track choice that's done him more than anything, because we know he can win races, he's very fast. But Bahrain, not one of his favourites. MK Bourne with the red cross above his name. A bit of lag there, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, he was literally right behind MK Bourne and then suddenly jumped about 3 tenths over in front again. So this is a bit of a dodgy position for both these guys to be in here, because Jack's almost got to guess where MK Bourne is, and it looks like there was a bit of contact there as MK Bourne, well, look at that again, MK Bourne just lags back in front of him again, so Jack here has got a really...
he'll do all season.
Yeah, I thought Jack had got MK Bourne at the inside, and then MK Bourne just magically appears back in front again. If only it was that easy to defend.
Yeah, Mike hitting his magic awful German internet lag switch button, keeping Jack behind him, but he needs to focus on in front. 5.5 seconds the gap, 3 laps to go, and he could win a championship, but it's starting to look like the man from Estonia has got it in hand. Of course, SD Mats going up to Cup Series next season.
Yeah,
I'll be joined by a few of these guys.
And I have to say, Easty Max has had a really impressive season. Has been, for me, definitely one of, if not the star of the show. He's had some superb performances. The pace has always been there, and he's always put himself in very good positions in races. So, you know, if this is the way it finishes, then he's definitely earned it.
And it'll be the first time that a favourite, if you will, has won a title in JACKOCAR.
Yeah, the unexpected should be this league's motto, and but for once it's expect the expected. So maybe it's just got to that point now where all the things that the crazy things that could have happened, and we're left with the actual logical thing happening.
So I don't know if you saw the Cup Series race at Canada last week, but I think we used enough drama up there for a whole season's worth. Absolutely mental race. Jack looks to the inside of MK Bourne at turn 4. MK Bourne's lag keeping him side by side as he goes Max Verstappen.
Oh, but MK Bourne's got a penalty now.
He has. That is championship over.
Yeah, I feel like that's it. Easty Mats will have seen that, and he'll now feel very secure. And yeah, Jack has got second place finally, unless MK Bourne presses his lag button one more time.
What a shame as well as a lovely livery from the German. But another JACKOCAR finale that he's not going to win. That's 2 seasons of the Dirt Rally, that's 2 seasons of NASCAR. The Cup Series in Season 1, and now Kia Series Season 3.
Yeah, he was aiming for gold tonight, as he should on his livery, but as it stands, he's only going to get bronze, I'm afraid, because Niels will jump him as well. Courtesy of that penalty MK Bourne just picked up, so and he may still finish behind Splinter as well.
Yeah, so the gaps are quite close. Nils, to be fair, a P2, absolute solid season for him. Yeah. Even if he takes second in the championship, that'll be the best performance by a chase driver ever. Yellow flags, that is indecisive Matt pulling over on the straight. 2 to go in the Kia Series finale.
As you'd expect, Jack and Scott beginning to close Easty Mats down, but not by a significant enough margin to get the Estonian even slightly panicked, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, like you say, Niels has done an incredible job, and if he gets second here, I mean, obviously he got through by the chase, he's done an incredible job just to be in this situation in the first place, so if he ends up as runner-up, I don't think he'll be too disappointed.
Dare I say he should have been a playoff driver anyway, but 4-star in the regular season sort of compounded him to being in the chase. He excelled in that along with Newgarden. Believe it or not, I finished 3rd in that. I know it's hard to believe. I hope you were sitting down for that comment.
I wasn't, but I might now.
Yeah, it's got to his head.
Yeah, you can't spring those things on me, you know, without warning.
No, I was saying all season long the season starts at round 9, and I think I did a pretty good job of proving that. 3rd in the chase, we'll take it. But how about a victory lap for SD Mats? It's looking set in stone for the Estonian.
This is getting spooky now. You literally read my mind. I was about to say that the same thing. I'll give Easty Mats. Oh, and Vitinho is out. Vitinho out of the race. Well, I guess that 30-second penalty no longer matters now.
That saves a steward's inquiry.
The equivalent of an unnamed real-life F1 driver getting a grid penalty when they start last anyway. But yeah, it's not how Vitinho would have wanted it to end, as Bill and Splinter I just want to see this actually. Villain Splinter going at it. Simon Splinter's off into the wall and out the race. Splinter. So 2 of the Championship 5 are not going to finish this race. Wow, that's such a shame for Splinter. He doesn't. He said he'd coming into this, he didn't like this track, and I think the track's just bitten him back.
MK Bourne's now left the session.
Oh, it's all going wrong for some of the Championship 5.
Get him. I tell you what, how about a victory sector 3 then for Esty?
Yeah, if
surely there can't be any more drama.
People wanted to take the attention away from Easter Mats, but we'll get the final few corners with him. And he's done a great job, and he's already slightly weaving. I think he's already anticipating a celebration. Things have gone on around him for other drivers, some of his rivals, but there is no stopping him today. Around the final corner he comes. He's pretty much slowing to a crawl here, going across the line, but he is going to win the Kia Series here at Bahrain. Scott takes second on the road, Jack in third, we've got Niels fourth, MK Bourne in fifth. He disconnected again right at the end.
Yep.
I think MK Bourne's AI's just got a fastest lap.
Donuts for Newgarden, along with Yuri. Why not? There's nothing wrong with this. Mr. John in his final Cup Series race, he's going to nab a P9 out of this. Why not? One final time for Mr. John.
And
he's going to slow down at the line.
And Jess might get 11th here because Newgarden is just enjoying some donuts out there, giving the fans what they want to see. And there he goes.
And Newgarden is a man who can come back next season and certainly win a few races. Expect more. Jess goes through, that position will be given to her. Yuri continues the donut celebration as we've rounded off the first ever Kia Series season. Esty Mats is your champion.
And surprisingly enough, we perhaps didn't expect this, but he won the race outright. It wasn't just beating the other championship contenders, he beat everyone tonight.
Yep, a JACKOCAR first.
Well, I think, well, it might be 2 JACKOCAR first then, you know, as well as, because we had 2 of the Championship 5 DNF, which I don't know if that's a first, but I feel like it might be.
Yes, it is, 100%.
So we've had some new records broken tonight, but Easty Rats has done the job that he would have wanted to do today, and he can celebrate. Some great drives from Scott and Jack, completing the podium as well. And credit to Niels and MK Bourne, who also finished Championship 5, but not quite able to dethrone Easty Mats tonight.
Absolutely. What a great end to the season as well. I'm glad I come up in the booth with you for a change rather than being out there and finishing 14th.
Yeah, and personally,
I would have done.
and personally speaking, I'm very happy to not have to see your livery.
It'll be back. Go again at the end of August, maybe middle of September. We'll see.
I think MK Bourne's fastest lap is a bit glitched out.
I'll tell you what, if he showed that pace earlier on, things might have been a little bit different.
I was going to say, Easty Mats wouldn't have had a chance if that was his pace.
Nah.
Well, there you go, there's the final results then. You got Niels 4th, MK Bourne 5th, Mozza 6th, Bill 7th, Bazza 8th. Great to see Mr. John get a top 10 finish on his farewell. I'm sure that's the sort of ending he would have been hoping for, from 17th to 9th. Can't complain at that. Jess completing the top 10. And I believe, do we have to give nominations for Driver of the Day?
No, that'll be admin to do that.
Can I put one forward anyway?
Absolutely. Matinho.
I'm gonna say Mr. John. That's gonna be
Mr. John. That's 2 top 10s in a row actually for John.
Yeah, and I think that's a worthy nomination, and I'd like to see him win Driver of the Day personally. But we'll see who the admin guys pick. I don't want to influence them in any way, and I certainly haven't got the money to do that. So,
but just a reminder to the folks: 7 PM Thursday, we do it all again. The Cup Series Championship 5 with commentary from my good self, Owen and Austin. And we'll be at a track that I have not yet named. I'm keeping it secret from all the drivers. But 7 PM Thursday, same place. JACKOCAR YouTube, so that should be good. Make sure you tune in.
Yeah, and in my very unbiased opinion, I mean, Owen, Austin, Jacko, you can't get a much more goated commentary box than that. So, yeah, I mean, if that's not a reason to tune in, I don't know what is.
Just Owen and Austin bickering for an hour and a half. That's all it'll be.
I mean, that's just as good an advertisement as any.
Absolutely.
So I'll definitely be keeping a keen eye on that one.
Indeed, Jake. I'll let you round off the season.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've really enjoyed commentating on it. First with Austin, and then Matt, and then of course Pete. With your good self tonight. Yeah, Pete as well. I'll forget names. It's quite a common thing to do. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll definitely looking forward to return to the Kia series in August or September, either in a commentary or driver position. I haven't quite decided yet, but it will be in some capacity, I can assure you of that. So yeah, I'm absolutely looking forward to that on the next game. Should be a lot of fun. But yeah, thanks Jacko for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun.
Not to worry, I'll see you in the future. And everybody else will see you on Thursday.
Yep, we'll sign out now, and yeah, be sure to tune in on Thursday for the Cup Series finale. It's going to be an absolute blast, but until then, goodbye.